comes with 4 LFOs. They are all syncable to BPM, external and internal clock, and they can hit all of the 96 modulation destinations. Something unique to the LFOs on the Prophet 12 is the new slew control. Let me show you how that sounds. So right now I have a square wave LFO modulating the pitch of all the oscillators. So the square wave has a very, very strong leading and falling edge. With the slew rate, you can slew that square wave all the way up into a flat DC signal. The wave reset function allows you to reset the LFO waveform every time a key is pressed. Normally they're free running, also like the oscillators. This allows you to have a very fine amount of control of when the LFO starts when a key is pressed. Given that you can set when the LFO starts, we figured it would be really, really cool to add a phase offset so you can control where exactly in the LFO cycle that wave reset happens. So with a little bit more phase, we're getting a less of the high end and then more of the low end before it pops back up again. At 64, it'll invert and will start low before going high. So this is a very, very powerful tool that allows more creative options to the LFOs that really are unique to the synthesizer. We have an extensive 16:2 modulation matrix which is easily assignable from the front panel. To quickly assign an LFO to, say, a filter, simply hold the Assign Mod Source button, click on the LFO in question or any other envelope or oscillator, hit the Assign Mod button, and hit the other knob that you want to affect. The next available mod slot in the matrix is updated with that value, and you can use the amount to change the modulation both positive and negative. So there you have your new modulation. Now let's say, for example, you wanted to have LFO2 modulate the speed of LFO1. You would assign the Mod Source button, hit LFO2, assign Mod Destination button, hit LFO1, and now touch LFO1's frequency knob. Now we have a modulation from LFO2 modulating the frequency of LFO1. LFO1, as you recall, is modulating the low-pass frequency amount. Another thing to mention is we have a couple new waveforms added to the LFO shapes themselves. Let me turn down that LFO to LFO1 frequency modulation, so we're just listening to one frequency. So here we have triangle wave, reverse sawtooth, sawtooth, and our square. We also have 3 other pulse shapes as well. Pulse 1 gives you a slightly lower rise time, not slower, but less. Pulse 2 is even shorter, and Pulse 1 is even shorter than Pulse 2, or Pulse 3, excuse me, Pulse 1, 2, and 3. Following the new pulse waveforms, we have a random waveform which can also be slew modulated as well. We also have a very sophisticated arpeggiator circuit. It has up modes, down, up, down, and assign modes. We have 1 to 3 octave range on the arpeggiator, as well as a clock divide parameter. I'm going to press the hold button to hold whatever keys I'm playing on the keyboard. You can also set the number of repeats a note plays before passing to the next note in the arpeggiated line. This can be set between 1 and 3. There's also our new ARP auto latch mode, which was implemented on the X4 synthesizer. When holding an ARPed line, and with ARP auto latch off, new notes played on the keyboard are added to the previous arpeggiated line. With ARP auto latch on, new pressed keys will kill the old arpeggiated line and create a new one. You can also change the BPM from the front panel. And there's a dedicated tap tempo button. The Prophet 12 can also be set to a unison mode, where you're playing 1 voice at a time, up to 6 or 12 voices, depending on whether the instrument is split or stacked. The Prophet 12 is a bitimbral instrument, meaning you can load 2 separate sounds at once. Here's an example of a single patch playing a single voice. Let me initialize this. Beep, beep. So that's only a single voice right now. We could bump that up to 12 voices and it'll just sound massive. We can also detune the voices to be less aligned so we get more of the phase smearing between them. As mentioned, the Prophet can be split or stacked with 2 separate programs between them. Each of the layers has an independent stereo distortion on its output. This can get really, really gritty all the way at the top, or just kind of subtly smooth out some of the peaks at lower settings. The Prophet 12 is really meant to be a studio and performance instrument. We've implemented the 2 location and pressure sensitive touch strips from the Tempest. These can also be easily assigned using the modulation assign mod source and assign mod destination buttons by just tapping the sliders and assigning them to whatever you want. For example, the pitch of an oscillator. Assign this pressure by hitting it a couple times, and you could assign that to the FM amount of the same oscillator for really crazy effects. Below the touch sliders, we have the typical pitch and mod wheels, and it's great to note that the pitch wheel can have independent pitch bends for the up and down range. The Prophet 12 has two main banks, user bank and factory bank. The factory bank is non-rewritable and allows you to keep all the default factory programs so you can use the user bank for all of your custom programs. The user bank is loaded with the default factory programs to begin with when you get it out of the box. Each bank is composed of 4 banks of 99 programs apiece, giving you a total of 396 program locations per bank. This is really powerful and allows you to get a really large number of programs together. Now, one of the things about having so many programs is it can be really difficult to find and sort through them all. We have a really direct access method using the numeric keypad, which allows you to type in whatever patch location you want. You can go up and down through the programs using the numeric keypad as well, or you can use the soft buttons above the OLED display. Now, this access method may not be the best way to get to on stage, so we've integrated a playlist parameter where you can organize your patches and quickly pull them up at a quick click of a button down at the bottom of the OLED display. The Prophet 12 comes with the OLED display from the Tempest drum machine and is a really beautiful display. It allows you to see the names of the patches at a distance and really easily identify and navigate through all of the parameters on the front panel. For example, if you wanted to set a very specific value for the low frequency cutoff, sometimes it can be a little difficult to do with a pod. However, when a control is changed on the front panel, it is also brought up on screen. You can use the soft knobs above the parameter to set an exact amount for the parameter in question. You can also navigate through all of the available parameters of the aforementioned section at the bottom of the screen at a quick touch of the soft button parameter. So all of this together really makes the Prophet 12 a deep, yet really inviting and easy instrument to get up and going on. We think you'll really like it, and we hope you come down and check it out at Music Stockholm. It's a great synth, and we think you'll like it.